we're closing in on the end of the Rugby World Cup, and there aren't too many predictions left to be made. Just have 2 this week, so this is going to be a fairly short one. Right, so let's get into the game. So the first is Argentina versus New Zealand. So other than this video, I'm going to have a review or preview, of the game. Also have a really interesting chat with Mark from 2 Cents Rugby that's already up on the channel that covers both of these semi-finals. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check that out. It's absolutely worth your time. But on this one, so Argentina, I think they've done well to get to a semi-final. That comeback against Wales was so good, and the fact that they were able to get their noses in front in that second half, and they made Wales, force Wales to be the ones to chase for the victory at the end. I think that really was one of the key things. Obviously, they got that intercept from Sanchez as well, and they just kind of sealed the victory. But Argentina, they've gotten better and better as the tournament has gone on. They were woeful against England when they were playing against 14. Even in the middle of the pool, they weren't that great. Against Japan, though, they started to show real signs that they were coming into a bit of form. And then, as I said, against Wales, they went behind, but they had the fortitude and the ability as well to come back and come over the top of Wales. New Zealand, kind of similar in that they started with an opening night defeat, but and they didn't look that great against France. France made them look, not going to say ordinary, because I don't think New Zealand ever look ordinary, but compared to what we're used to seeing from New Zealand, they didn't look that great. But then they went on that revenge mission through the rest of the pool, just tore it up, destroyed everyone in the pool, had that epic quarterfinal against Ireland that is going to live long in the memory, not just of Irish and New Zealand fans. I think lots of rugby fans, that's just going to be a classic that people will refer back to and watch. It's the kind of game that if they were still making like DVD compilations or whatever, it would be on a DVD compilation of the best Rugby World Cup games. And there would have been another one from the same weekend as well. Just shows how good the rugby was last week. But we're hoping for some good rugby as well this week. New Zealand, as I said, they had that epic game against Ireland. So this week, it's kind of a weird one for them, I think, because everybody is expecting them to get to the final. And, in terms of intensity, maybe people aren't expecting this game to be as intense as that Ireland game either. And, the guys might even relax a bit after that Ireland game. But listen, these guys are professionals. They've been here before in Rugby World Cups as well. They missed out on the final last time as well in 2019 when they cruised through against Ireland that time, right, in 2019, and they weren't able to do it in their semi-final. But I think in this one, everybody's predicting New Zealand, and I'm going to be no different. New Zealand are going to win this one. On to then our second semi-final. So we have England, who've, they're the only unbeaten team left in the tournament, which is crazy to think, like, when you've got the reigning world champions and you've got the All Blacks in there as well. But England, the only one who've got a perfect record in this Rugby World Cup. As I said, they started off with that win against Argentina in adversity, and then they started getting better through the pool, and they had that complete blowout against Chile where Aaron Dell got 5 tries, Marcus Smith looked great, and then against Samoa they just about like fell over the line at the end. Like, it looked like Samoa were going to beat them, I think for the first time, right? And just at the end they were able to sneak the victory there. But then into the quarterfinal, and with that one, it was another kind of nail biter on that against Fiji. I thought England, they started well, and then they lost their way. And it's kind of, their quarterfinal was almost like it was almost like a mini version of their pool, as it were, because in the pool, the same thing. They started well, and then they lost their way towards the end, and the same in that game, but they were still able to do enough to get through. And the thing in that game was, we talked about Argentina when they came back against Wales. They were able to get themselves ahead, but Fiji, they got back level, and then they couldn't kick on. And it was England then that were able to come up with, they had the drop goal and the penalties that was enough to seal victory for them, and it meant that Fiji were the ones chasing the game at the end. I think that's a theme throughout the all of the quarterfinals. The teams that went through were the ones who were able to, when you were coming into the last couple of minutes, they were the ones with their noses in front, and they were the ones who put in the defensive shift to keep the opposition out. Every single one of them pretty much ended the same thing. We didn't have like a last minute try or penalty or whatever to seal it for a team on the comeback. They were all just that little bit ahead. And England again. So listen, they're in the semi-finals. Same for Argentina. You've always got a chance, right? Once you're there in the semi-final. But South Africa, they looked good in the pool. They rotated players. I still think they played a really good game against Ireland. It wasn't like they were poor against Ireland. They got beaten. Like they absolutely just took Ireland's set piece away from them at the start of the game. Ireland could not win a line out against them, and they're going to try and do the same thing with England as well, I would imagine. But they did so well against Ireland, but Ireland just found a way to overcome that and to fix their issues on the field and to get the win. But South Africa, don't take anything away from South Africa's performance, it was still excellent. Then they'd already beaten Scotland in the pool as well, and then they had that big win against Tonga, right, to basically make it so that there was a possibility at least that they could finish top of the pool if Scotland were to beat Ireland. But then in their quarterfinal against France come out, score after 4 minutes. 4 minutes later is the Springboks reply, and that's the way it was. Ding dong battle all the way through, and that Etzebeth try, the last one that they got, like he's some player. First of all, swats one defender out of the way, and he has three more hanging on to him as he goes over the line to score. Just that utter determination. Then like Colby, he looked very impressive as well. So South Africa, they've shown, and again talked about this with Mark from 2 Cents as well, that South Africa, they got more than one way to beat a team, and I think that's why I'm backing them to beat England in this one. I think most people are going to back South Africa as well. Some people will give England kind of a puncher's chance, or whatever it's called when it's in boxing, but still South Africa is probably going to be most people's favourites, and they're my favourites too. So my predictions for the semi-finals, nothing out of the ordinary really. New Zealand to win their semi-final, and South Africa to win theirs.